All right, hello everyone. Sorry about the delay. We are here with the Super Mario World No Cape No Star World tournament here on SpeedGaming. I believe we're on SpeedGaming too. We've just opened up the room. Have these guys starting as soon as possible. Really, I just watched the countdown in, so as soon as we see these guys hit that one-player button, we will be starting the race. I am Mike the Pone Star. By the way, I don't know if I said that or not. It's been a little crazy here getting started, but we are good. So we have Xander479 here versus Bramz, both with pretty comparable PBs. Let's take a quick look here. Bramz has a 3619 and No Cape No Star World. Xander has 3552, so they're like within 30 seconds of each other. I know Xander and Bramz are also friends of each other's, which makes this a pretty hype race. Now, I'm sure we're going to get synced up here shortly, but going to have a nice quick cruise through Yoshi's Island. Now, this being the No Cape No Star World category, these guys are not going to see a cape, and, you know, we're in Yoshi's Island. It doesn't actually matter. We don't see capes in Yoshi's Island anyways, but, you know, keep that in mind. We're going to see a lot of variation on what you might be used to seeing in a Super Mario World run. And Xander getting that nice 361, which can only happen if you get the max run speed jumping off that block there at the end. Very, very tiny advantage to Xander so far. Very tiny. Both getting that early box jump. Usually that's where you'll see the first bit of race nerves. But these guys are experienced players. They've been doing this a long time. If any of them miss box jump, I think everyone would be a little shocked. You'll notice they're also maximizing their time on these brown platforms as they're running along. This just saves a little bit of time as they run along. They get a nice little push as they run along it, and it saves a little bit of time. It makes a difference between getting a 259 and a 258 on the in-game timer. It's another one of those, it's pretty small, but it will make a difference if you're, you know, comparing World 1s. This is also a 35 to 40 minute category, so if we're comparing, you know, the first 3.5 minutes of the game for a determination on the winner, we probably shouldn't be doing that. I didn't even see if we saw a shell jump or not. Judging by the timers, I don't think we did. Looked like pretty standard Yoshi's Island 4 going into Iggy's Castle. And shoutouts to Wolfman getting us all set up here real quick. And just as he had like walked in grabbing dinner, so thanks a million. All right, it looks like we had a pretty good room 1 from both of them. About the same on the fences. They're actually in pretty good sync going into this auto-scroller room. This is my favorite time to hydrate during the run, or during any Mario run, really. And as long as we can survive this auto-scroller, get through the Iggy fight. Xander going through it small. And Bramz going with the Fire Flower, so we're already seeing a bit of a difference here. Bramz with a bit faster kill. And so he's going to edge out just a little bit of a lead. Heading out of World 1. And now we're going through this Iggy cutscene. Something about a demented Iggy Koopa. Something about progressing into donut plains. It's been a long time since I've used the US cart, so I don't remember exactly the wording, but I specifically remember Iggy Koopa being referred to as demented. Now you're going to see these guys ignoring all the Super Koopas with the capes, and that is because this is no cape, no Star World. We are going through the game without a cape and without using Star World. Because Bramz has that Fire Flower, he's just going to fireball all of them. Xander jumping all past them. They're both grabbing this Yoshi. They're going to use it, jump off, get up to that secret exit. I don't consider Yoshi a very good friend, so I'm okay with this. Other people don't like ditching that Yoshi. But that's okay, because, you know, you want to go fast, you got to have little care for that Yoshi. Yeah, so Donut Secret 2 is going pretty well for these guys. It's a bit different than you might be used to. Oh, Xander is scaring me a little, getting that close to the fish. And oh no, that is... Is that what you want to happen? I mean, good backup for Xander. Very, very much scaring me though. So when you're underwater and you're holding an item, it lets you swim twice as fast. And swimming speed is basically Mario's slowest speed, so... If you can hold an item as long as you can, it really works out for you. Xander crushed the P-switch that you usually use to swim through the level quickly. Unfortunately, that meant he went for the backup with that key, and he also got pretty close to that keyhole, which scared me. So Bramz has a bit of a lead going into the ghost house, and I couldn't even describe this room because it's going so fast now. Xander's gonna... do the same thing Bramz did. Run up those stairs. Try and keep the P speed so that the camera moves while he bounces off the boo. Gets to the door. I'm out of breath already. And Bramz is going into one of the most difficult levels in this run. Donut Plains 3. And they're both going to be doing it small. So they're curious what strats they're both going to go for. As you can see, there's a lot of relatively tight platforming, especially that jump onto that brown platform Bramz just did. And it's really scary because if you miss one of your jumps, oh, just like Xander did right there, you don't have anything below you to help you out. Or you're right, you jump up the stairs. My bad. But very well done for Bramz getting through there. He's going into Donut Plains 4. Xander having another unfortunate time in Donut Plains 3. Like I said, it's one of the toughest levels in this run. You don't have very much wiggle room for error. There we go. Bramz picked up another Fire Flower in Donut Plains 4. And this Fire Flower is going to be important for getting a faster kill on Morton. And he's out of there with the Yoshi. Xander's about a level behind now. But that's alright. There's a lot of variance in this category. There's still a lot of things that could happen, so it's still a little early to call a winner, but especially it only being 8 minutes in. But Bramz definitely does have a fairly big advantage early on. And so now we're here in Morton's Castle. Morton's Castle, in most categories, is pretty interesting. And that's because in most categories, you get a cape to fly through. This personally is one of the, to me, is one of the least interesting parts of the run. A couple castles are like this too, where you have to sort of wait on a cycle. So it's harder to go fast, and it's all right. Looks like Xander's going to give up the power-ups going up that first room. Or worse, a block snake. That is correct. We're not going to spoil that for the for those uninitiated until we get there. So Bramz destroying Castle 2. He's going to make his way into Vanilla Dome, which is honestly quite an interesting part of this run. This is actually where I think No Cape really makes the run interesting. A lot of the next levels are very Cape or in Cape categories tend to be like a sort of a flyover style, not a whole lot of variation or fly up. And in No Cape, there's actually a lot of interesting platforming that happens. But to do that, first Bramz is going to take this Yoshi, grab the blue shell, fly up to that secret exit so that he can fly into Vanilla Secret, and then to the top bridge. And as the route continues, I should say, stumbling over words a bit here. All right, Bramz successful Yoshi ditch, up the green beans, into the gold tape. There's a pretty healthy lead at this point. Now Xander's going to take his turn. He's going to try and recover some power-ups, it looks like, in VD1 here. Which is definitely not a bad call. So Bramz up here in VS2? Truth be told, there's a point where I just start forgetting the numbering of this, and oh no, Bramz is not having a good time with these Koopas. These Koopas are taking everything. This is Xander's chance to get back up there. He's going to take that Yoshi from earlier, jump off this block, and then ditch the Yoshi. Very nice shot through that choke point. He's going to have a very easy time getting up the green beans. It's like Bramz found his way out of the Koopa gauntlet, and it's finally at the end of the level up here. So that's definitely an opening for Xander. So it looks like Bramz is even going to go back for that Yoshi for the next level. Or for a future level, I should say. Alright, but now Bramz is in with the dolphins. Fun fact, dolphins are only edible in the Japanese version of the game. For reasons questionably unknown. And you may have noticed there was a little bit of a delay at the start of that, and that was to get the dolphins lined up just right so that you could have a nice, easy run across them without having to be in the water very much. Like I mentioned before, if you're in the water, you're probably going a lot slower than you want to. And Xander demonstrating that those dolphins are in fact edible by having Yoshi eat one. You monster. Meanwhile, Bramz is now in the fort. Or rather, just entering the fort. Now, this fort is kind of a boring fort. It's really just a exercise in managing your vertical height in the water. You have a lot of stuff coming at you from the right side. Those bony fish. You'll see some of the spinies on the floor later on. There's a lot of ball and chains, too. And towards the end of this room, you're going to see some spikes falling. Basically, if you make sure you're always holding right and you can manage your height correctly, you don't ever have to really touch the ground. Bramz showing you just how beautifully to do that. And the second room is pretty straightforward as well. You're just swimming and dodging. It's really easy to just sort of figure out a pattern that works for you. Now here's our first Reznor fight. Oh, well done, Bramz. That's what you like to see. Xander heading down to the second room. It's not too far behind Bramz coming out of this fort. You know, let's keep the focus on Xander for a little bit here, because on Bram's screen we've got the crowd favorite Butterbridge 1. For some reason that's a crowd favorite. I don't really understand why. Xander has a nice Reznor kill. I guess we couldn't avoid Butterbridge 1 for that long, could we? So that's what we got next. We're gonna have both runners in Butterbridge 1. Quite honestly, I told Bramz we need to start accepting runs that have a different music track in Butterbridge 1. You know, we got to change it up. We got to make this level more interesting, because otherwise people die in here. I've seen a lot of people die in this level because it's so boring. All you're doing is hopping and bouncing off Koopas. Bounce, 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 bounce. My music suggestion was the athletic theme from Yoshi's Island. I actually think that would be the perfect music for this level. But I also know I'd never get a run accepted. Xander, that's a lot of one-ups off those Koopas. Fun fact, you can in fact despawn some of the platforms and make this level unbeatable for you. Alright, and Bramz gets that last jump out of Butterbridge 1. He is no longer going insane with excitement in the best level ever. Is that better, you guys? I think that's the energy you were looking for. Alright, now Bramz is going through Butterbridge 2. This is what we get that Yoshi for, really. This level is pretty insane. There's just a lot of nonsense happening down here, as you can see. And for those uninitiated, or those who weren't really paying attention or just joining us now, Yoshi works pretty interestingly with different Koopa shells. Different Koopa shell colors give Yoshi different powers. And the blue Koopa shell lets Yoshi fly. And you see, that's the loophole of this run, or rather using that in this level. It's no cape, not no flight. Oh, and Xander, that was really pretty. Bumped that shell, chased it down, and grabbed it. I don't know if that was intended. But it looked pretty cool. So I'm gonna say it was intended. Meanwhile, Bramz is going through Ludwig's castle. There's a little bit of delay in the beginning, because you gotta worry about those spikies, but second room is just pure jumping and timing, getting your rhythm, and running as fast as you can. Now let's see on this third room how he does on the fences. These fences can really be where you, lose a lot of time. Two fireballs, a jump, and Bramz is taking down Ludwig. Xander just a room behind. Well, let's say a room and a half. I may have been a little premature there, but certainly not that far. And with that, we're going into the forest. As we all know, the forest is where a lot of things can change and a lot of things can go wrong. We've got some relatively straightforward platforming and a clip that has a 25% chance to fail even when you do it right. So, oh, and did I mention the block snake we mentioned earlier? Forest isn't really a friendly split, to be honest. But Bramz is doing a very good job through Forest 1. Xander is hot on his heels coming through The cool thing is they both got Yoshis already. They both got their power-ups already. And unless Xander... Oh, almost grabbed that power-up. Barely missed. And bumped the side of the log there. Killing his speed. That's unfortunate. Alright, looks like Bramz is getting ready for his clip attempt. Oh, whoa. That was... I need to see that again. That was solid. That was super solid. Didn't even, like, remount Yoshi going into that wall. That was just, like, clean through. That was... Wow. I'm pretty sure both of them are watching, but... Now Xander knows he's not getting any time on that Yoshi clip. But Xander is getting that first try clip as well, so... Honestly, the difference in time there is not really that big. Yeah, both getting first try. This is incredible. The forest is not really going to be the decider here. Bramz went for that wall jump and not quite getting it. Nice little hop up there. Alright, and now we're going to head into, Bramz is heading into Roy's castle. Roy's castle tends to be a really big, it can be a real big deal, a real big, test of nerves in cape categories. But sadly in, no cape categories, you don't get quite as much excitement. The whole first chamber, you're just following the block snake. You're playing the game as intended. And what speedrunner likes playing the game as intended? Now we're gonna see Xander do the same thing. But Bramz is coming up pretty close to the second chamber, and this second chamber is a place where you can do a damage boost, grab your extra power up if you have it. You can run across the spike, so you have enough iframes to make it across, and that's where you sort of start speeding up in here. Through the third and fourth chamber, just like nothing. 2 fireballs and a jump should take care of Roy. Bramz is out of there. And we're gonna move on to Chocolate Island. Alright, Xander has scrolled the screen. It's getting very close to the second chamber. Probably going to go for the damage boost as well. There we go. Well done. Through the third room, through the fourth one. And now Xander's going to have to do 3 jumps on Roy to kill him. So it's about from the fade out to the end of the cutscene that Bramz has right now on Xander. Which is a little bit of time, but... You know, the opportunities are starting to run out to start getting ahead here. But I think that gap has been closing slowly and steadily. Or rather, not growing. I swear I'm working on growing my vocabulary to include words longer than 6 letters to describe things. Or maybe more than like 2 6-letter words to describe things. So Bramz is here in Chocolate Ghost House. And Chocolate Ghost House is tricky just because it's the level with the Fishing Boo. Fishing Boo has this flame that's just sort of going back and forth. Ooh, very nice early door. But because of that fishing boot, it can make it kind of weird to get the right jumps that you're looking for. And yeah, that's all there's really is to say about the ghost house. The second room is usually a place to just dump a power up if you have it to move a little faster, but let's see if Xander gets the early door, and he does. Nice. Oh! That's usually where one would dump a power up to just jump through and spin. I don't think I do see that strat very often. I don't usually see the death associated with it, though. Alright, so Bramz is going through Chocolate Secret, and this is where my former friends, the Chucks, live. They like to throw footballs at you. They're on a weird timer. They can really wreck you, even if you're on a pattern that you're used to. And then now Bramz is just gonna spin and fall with style down the second room. Chocolate Secret's kind of a long level, but I think No Cape, it's actually really straightforward because it's just platforming. I mean, I guess bouncing off the spikies can be a little weird if you're not paying attention. You also don't want to get double sprited on them, but in general, I should say it's pretty straightforward. No, now that I think about it, chocolate. Oh, Xander, that's. Poor Xander. Xander's had it kind of rough this run. See, that's another reason I don't like to associate my friendship with Chucks anymore. One is just I got killed by those football Chucks really bad one time. And another is just like what happened to Xander, man. They're charging through. Bramz gets a cool crusher skip. That's not why I hate the Chucks, but it really needed to be noted. He's in Wendy's Castle, which is one of the toughest levels in the game, and I'm going on about the Chucks. Bramz is going into room 2. And room 2 is pretty tricky for platforming because you have to kind of do that back and forth, some sort of delay to get the platforms to line up right. Everything sort of moves up and down in here instead of side to side. Bram's doing it really well. And a nice Wendy kill. Bramz is out of Chocolate Island. A pretty healthy lead at this point. It's gonna take a big mistake for Xander to come in now, I think. Sandbar will decide the race, possibly. I don't know if either of these guys are actually going to go for Sandbar, though. Chad, there's a lot of Chucks in Chocolate Island. Xander going through the last set of them. Now escaping Chocolate Secret. Now escaping the Chocolate Island. Heh. Heh. I said it before you. Chat. I just want to point it out. Heh. But it was like very close timing. Haha. Good thing too. Good thing we've got another Wendy's Castle to talk about. Let's see how Xander's crusher skip goes. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. I want to talk about Wendy's Castle because Sunken Ghost Ship. Like there's an exciting prize at the end, but oh, Xander came real close. Just got a little too close to the crusher there. And a nice boo ring despawn from Bramz. If you have the boo cloud on screen still while it's trying to load the boo rings, it won't load one of them, and sometimes if you do it right, you can't load either of them. And now Bramz is out of the slow part of the ghost ship. We're just falling and falling. We're looking for a nice prize at the end here. Everyone say it with me. It's the crowd's favorite, orb. So we've got our first of 2 orbs in this race. Bramz has unlocked the Valley of Bowser. It's going into Valley of Bowser 1. Xander has just defeated Wendy. It's getting ready to go into the ghost ship. And I don't know, we're in pretty good shape. I think these are both still pretty decent runs. The audio is currently set up how it is by request. So, yeah. All right, so Xander's entered the ghost ship. I wonder what's in that box that he's swimming past. Guess we'll never know. Bramz is going through the exciting adventure of Valley of Bowser 2. The first room's actually really straightforward. It looks like it's pretty tough, and if you don't know a pattern to get through, it's actually very tough because if you go off pattern, it's pretty tough because of the way the platforms are moving up and down. Oh. I don't know if Bramz was intending to go for that or not. Unfortunately, not getting in. Xander got a boo ring despawn. It looks like Bramz is going to be taking this the normal way, so everyone keep your eyes on Xander, because he's falling through that last room of the ghost ship. We all know it's at the end now. Let's get excited. Everyone get pumped. We're getting the coins. We're going past the spike balls. And what's past the spike balls? None other than the orb. So if y'all don't say orb in chat, I'm going to be pretty sad. But now Xander's gotten that orb. Heading into the Valley of Bowser. It looks like Bramz is just getting ready to get out of Valley of Bowser 2. Head into probably the scariest level in this route. Stay tuned. And Xander's going that top route. Pretty much, I think that's the only route you can reasonably take, no cape without a Yoshi. No, Bramz is going to try and keep P-Speed going through here, and it'll let him skip a couple of crushers later on, or not a couple of them, but if you keep your P-Speed, you go faster, and that lets you do things like go under this crusher early. I was thinking there was a second one as well, but I was wrong. And here's our last Reznor fight. Bramz doing it very well. It was a little scary. It looked like he bumped off one of the Reznor platforms a little weird. Reznor platforms can bump you in weird directions. So that's always something to be a little afraid of. Oh, Xander going for a wall jump, or a wall shell jump off the... Why do we differentiate the different shell jumps, man? There's too many varieties. So the nice thing about doing a no Star World route, either caped or uncaped, is that you don't actually have to go through Bowser's Castle. For some reason, that Reznor Fortress is just guarding the pathway to Bowser's back door. Now Xander's going through the sandbar room. I'm not sure what this shell is for. I hope something cool. Alright, so Bramz has finished up the first phase of Bowser. And so this phase, the second phase, is the longest one. And you'll notice he kept I almost said a Magic Koopa. Wow, he kept a Mecha Koopa. Ooh, that was pretty cool with the shell. Hey, where'd it go? I'm very easily distracted. So if he throws this up when Bowser stops to drop the next bowling ball, but before Bowser drops the bowling ball, it'll skip that bowling ball phase. As you see, Bramz did it right, and the second bowling ball never showed up. And he has an extra Mecha Koopa to start the next phase with. It saves a pretty decent chunk of time on the fight. Nat Key just doesn't want to go with Xander. Alright, so Bramz has got that fifth hit. He just has to wait a few bounces. Bowser's going to bounce around him. He's going to throw this shell up. Sixth and final hit. Get your GGs out for Bramz. Your winner of the run with a 36.09. GG. Is that a... Hold up. Hold up. At least based on speedrun.com, that's a 10-second PB. I don't know if that's a real PB, but if so, let's give a super big GGs for that. Cause that is awesome. It looks like Xander's just finished up in the fortress. And Xander will be moving on to Bowser's Castle in the back door. I don't know if it's just me, but the coloring on Xander's screen's a little weird, but I actually really like it for this particular room. It actually looks really like that's kind of what I imagined Bowser's Castle would actually look like. So I'm getting word that there will be no interview from Bramz, but they want to say it was an honor. Kind words always appreciated to everyone. GG again, Bramz. Alright, now Xander's here. He's got his Mecha Koopa ready. Let's see if we can get that ball skip on Xander's side. And I think that looked good. It looked like it may have been a little early, but I sincerely doubt it. I trust Xander a lot more on that than myself. Yep, see, I shouldn't have had any worries at all. Xander was fine. We're going into the last phase of Bowser. After these raining Halloween-faced fireballs drop. I don't really know how else to describe the face other than Halloween. But the game seems to really like the season of autumn, so it would make sense. be very fitting and in theme. Now let's get your GGs out for Xander with the 39-12. And it looks like Xander is joining for an interview. Hello, Xander.
Yeah, hey.
How's it going? How do you feel about the run? I'm sure you have feelings about it that are less than positive.
Well, for the most part, I mean, Donut Plains 3 was Donut Plains 3, so I'm not going to complain about that. But other than that, the run was fine until Chocolate Island happened, and apparently Chocolate Island just hates me in every category, in every race, always. So, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that always seems to be a general theme with Chocolate Island, you know? I see it with a lot of people, including myself. It's like, it either wants to cooperate or it really just wants to ruin your day.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an easy world. And then the Valley of Bowser as well was a bit sketch, but whatever. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Did you at least have fun playing?
Oh yeah, like, I enjoyed it. I know that my time wasn't the best that I could go for. Like, my PV shows, I can do much better than this, but for the most part, I think it was fine. The time losses were just big ones.
Absolutely. And for the most part, I thought you had a pretty solid run, especially like you said, it was just the mistakes that were there were just pretty big time loss mistakes. They weren't just like, oh, I jumped a little early there and have to skip one cycle or something. It was
and CI2 was a blow up. I mean,
the shock.
I grabbed a turn block and turned back towards him so that he'd run into it, but I guess the game hadn't registered that the turn block should be on my left yet. So I died. That one was so dumb. If I'd pressed left like a couple frames earlier, that would have got him.
Yeah, that was absolutely like a frame rule kind of a thing. It looked like you didn't have the game was either going to give it to you or not. It wasn't up to you anymore.
Yeah, but oh well, I had fun.
I'm glad to hear it. That's what it's all about too, right? So
yeah. And now I can focus on 96 exit and don't have to think about this category anymore.
Well, I think that's a good thing, but I think this also is probably going to be at least a little helpful for your 96, at least in terms of backups if you need them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we close it out tonight?
I guess just GG to Bramz, and thanks for watching, everyone. It's been a good one.
All right. Let me just make sure that the Brazilian restream has finished up. It looks like they have. So I will close it out here. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. We've got another race for the No Cape, No Star World tournament coming up tomorrow morning. I believe it is at 10 Eastern because I am waking up nice and early to commentate it. And so I hope to see you guys there. Let me see who that is real quick. If I could type SpeedGaming.
I think the next one is Sweetie T and Ricky.
I believe so. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you all then. Thank you, Xander. Thank you, SpeedGaming, for restreaming it, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see ya.